Mabuhay everyone, MARKCHES here, welcome to the channel, and for today's video, I'll be giving you my initial look and initial impression on the Zion 2s. So guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and of course there's a new button down there which says thanks and it has a heart. So what it does is, if you click that, you can comment, give me a comment. You could donate a little to this channel and your comment will be in the priority list and I will be answering the questions. I usually answer your questions, but I mean, you could help out the channel quite a bit with that heart button. Okay, so click it down below here. We have an initial or an early look at the Zion 2s. I believe I'll be the first one reviewing it here in YouTube. And I'm pretty excited to share my thoughts on the sneakers because I have a mixed feeling about this sneaker, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So the colorway that I got is the Prism colorway. So it has this kind of Thor Love and Thunder colors all around. That's what reminded me of this colorway. So that this blue prism which has purple, orange, and a lot of other colors on the heel part of the Zion 2s. But let's start off first, of course, with the materials up front of the Zion 2s. It has a mesh upper on the toe area, the specific part of the sneaker, and it runs through up to the mid part of the sneaker. And there's a strap here that also says Zoom Air, and we'll discuss the cushion in a bit, but we'll talk about first the materials being used in this sneaker. And it has this synthetic leather overlays and suede on the side panels. This is suede, synthetic suede here, which is soft too, which I'm not mad about because it looks good in this colorway specifically. And the strap opens up like this, and the strap is connected to the lace holes of the Zion 2s. Plus it has this padded areas around the lateral area, which also kind of gives a beef up look to the Zion 2s. So it's padded here on both sides. And what the strap does is, I think it kind of helps a bit in the lockdown by just a bit, because you won't be able to really pull hard and lock the strap like that, because eventually it will loosen up, especially when you're running up and down the floor. But let's wait and see when I try this on court. But that's my initial feel when I was trying it here in my studio. And mainly I think this is just for aesthetics. I think the Zion 2 really gives a very 90s vibe to the sneaker, especially this colorway with this prism design pattern at the back and the synthetic suede and leather all around the sneaker, and this synthetic material that is shiny. It's not patent leather, but it's a synthetic material. But what's nice about it is it's not hard. It's very soft to the touch. Although the Zion 2 gives you a very bulky look to the sneaker, but the materials are relatively soft, which is quite surprising. I thought it will be a little bit harder. I mean, in terms of materials, where it's gonna be stiff, you need a lot of break-in time. But when I initially tried it here, all materials are really soft. Even this heel part of the sneaker is soft too. This ankle collar is soft. But one thing that I really noticed that they really beefed up on the Zion 2s is the heel plate, because the heel plate doesn't just run until the half of the sneaker, but it goes up to the top part, up to here. So it's really hard here, and it covers a lot of surface area until around this part. So the heel cup is really big on the Zion 2s, so kind of covers my entire hand like this on the Zion 2s, because usually on most modern sneakers, the heel cup is just around the small area of the sneaker, just this half part, but this one runs until the entire part of your heel. So I think that's a good, for me, and for me personally, I like that because I like it to be better in terms of heel containment, and the lockdown will be better. And speaking of lockdown, there's two huge pillows there inside the Zion 2s, which when I first put my foot in, I immediately felt those two pillows hugging my heel, which is quite nice. And heel lockdown support was really good. And given that this is a mid-cut sneaker, it's kind of, yeah, same cut as the Zion ones, because I don't have my Zion ones here anymore. I sold them. I wasn't too fan of it, to be honest. But with this one, for the looks, I kind of like the design more of the Zion 2s compared to the Zion 1s in terms of the aesthetic design wise aspect of the sneaker. So that's just me. As for the lacing system, it has a traditional lacing system, like a very traditional old lacing system. You can really easily adjust the fit of the sneaker where you want to tighten it in the forefoot, midfoot, or around the ankle part. But one thing that I wish that they retained was the two bungees that were found in the Zion ones, where you can see it in the Zion ones. There's two bungees going down on the lateral part of the sneaker, where it's gone here already. It just uses this strap, this part. So when you tighten up the laces, this kind of pulls this strap part. So this, I think, will be the bungee part of the sneaker, but it won't move that much, I believe, because it's part of the lacing system, but we'll wait and see. So you have to tighten this up so that this strap will go inside and pull your foot down to the footbed. I hope that it will give me a good lateral support to the Zion 2s. Now, of course, the main highlight of the sneaker that we've been waiting for, because I've searched the net for the tech specs of the Zion 2, I really have to remove the insole, which is just a regular insole that has a Zion logo there. So I removed it, and it says here at the heel part is the air strobel. I initially thought it will be the same full-length air strobel that will be found in the Zion one, but it is just half of the sneaker. So it's until here. The air strobel is just until the mid part of the sneaker, and the cushion in the forefoot. There, like I've said, there's a Zoom Air name or label here in the strap. So there's a Zoom Air in the forefoot. It's just a puck Zoom Air that we had in the PG3s. What else? Jordan 13s. It's just this small. It doesn't cover the entire forefoot part. I saw it here, the curve or the pattern. It is top loaded though, which is good. So when I was trying it out, I could feel the bounciness in the forefoot by a bit, but don't expect too much cushion in the forefoot because you're really sitting low to the Zion 2s, especially around the forefoot. I can feel my hand just around this part, so there's not much foam in the forefoot part. I believe in the Zion one, I remember that it's a little bit thicker. The cushion is a little bit thicker because there's a full-length air strobel plus a zoom unit below that, which I wish that they maintained it here in the Zion 2s. They maintained the full-length air strobel plus a top-loaded zoom unit will be really nice on the Zion 2s, but they cut it out in half, the air strobel that is, and plus a little zoom unit. I think the zoom unit here is the same zoom unit used in the Zion ones. So what they really did is just cut the air strobel into half. So that quite sucks in my opinion. I was really hoping that the Zion 2s will have more cushioning. So let's wait and see. I'll be playing with this soon. I'll be giving you my initial performance test on the Zion 2s, but right now you're sitting really low to the ground. So if you have the Zion ones, it's lower than the Zion ones. But as for the heel impact protection on the air strobel, it was quite good. You can feel the plushness on the heel, and you're sitting really low to the ground. So if you're someone who likes really responsive sneaker and low to the ground feel sneaker, you will like the Zion 2s because it's really low to the ground. The insole gives extra impact protection and plushness to the sneaker, but of course this will bottom out eventually. Another thing that I think is an upgrade from the Zion ones is the traction on the Zion 2s. It has herringbone pattern in the forefoot and heel, which is a decoupled outsole, and just the Zion logo, this pink part here in the forefoot. So what I like about this is they didn't play around with the pattern of the traction. They maintained with the herringbone pattern, which I wasn't quite a fan on the Zion 1's traction pattern because it was really shallow and I had the translucent outsole, but I had two of my friends playing with the solid rubber outsole on the Zion 1's and they didn't have any problems on the traction. It was gripping, but mine with the translucent outsole, when I was playing on a dusty floor, I was sliding off. So that I didn't like about the Zion ones because you have to base on the compound of the traction first before you get a good traction. So if you have the solid rubber outsole of the traction one, you're good to go. But with this one, it also has a solid rubber outsole and the rubber compound is quite pliable. And this is a PF version, guys, FYI, which has XDR rubber. And the lines are pretty thick enough and deep enough. It's deeper than the Zion ones. And when I was trying it out, it was sticking on the floor, which is good for initial wear because eventually when I break this in, it will be better. And as for the decoupled outsole, there's a mid-foot plate for torsional support. You will see it inside or below the air strobel. So it's a small plate in the middle, nothing too big, but as for right now, it bends, but I think it will bend more when I break this in. Another highlight of the Zion 2s is they gave us a very nice lateral outrigger, and this outsole is quite flatter compared to the Zion ones because the Zion ones is a little bit rounded in the forefoot. This one is flatter compared to the Zion ones, and the lateral outrigger here is pretty nice. It's really protruding. And the Zion ones, even though it was quite rounded, it still has a very nice exaggerated lateral outrigger, which I think Zion really likes. So this also has a lateral outrigger here in the forefoot, and the base on the heel is also wide. So I believe stability is one of Zion's priority in his basketball sneaker. So this one, you wouldn't have any problems with stability. But of course, I'll give you an update on that on my initial performance review of the Zion 2s. As for the weight of the Zion 2s, this is a US 11. It is 455 for a US 11, so pretty much on the standard weight. It doesn't feel heavy given on how it looks. I thought it will be a lot heavier. I thought that it will range from 480 grams up, but it's around 450, which is average. Also, the Zion ones is quite light too, so I think Zion likes a light sneaker. He likes guard shoes. And like I've said, aesthetics, the looks of it, it's a very 90s vibe sneaker. Bulky looking, but still, the Jordan brand maintained the weight, not too heavy, and the materials are still soft. The heel design kind of reminds me of the LeBron 11s. Let me know if you agree with me on that. This really kind of reminds me of the design on the LeBron 11s. As for sizing, go true to size if you're a regular footer, and wide footer, go half a size up because although it might look wide in the forefoot, but when I tried with the US 10.5, it was quite snug around the forefoot, midfoot part of the sneaker. The US 11 fitted me well. For the price of the Zion 2s, they lowered the price of the Zion 2s, which is good, but for that extra $10, I would like it to have a full-length air strobel plus the forefoot zoom unit like the Zion ones, because this is $10 cheaper compared to the Zion one. So this is 6,500 pesos. Zion ones is 7,000 pesos here. So that's 140 for the Zion ones and 130 on the Zion 2s. So guys, let me know what you think about the Zion 2s. Do you like them? Do you like the aesthetics? What do you think of the cushioning? Hit me a comment down below. This has been MARKCHES once again. Thank you for dropping by. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.